There are 4 tales from the 4 corners of the world that you must know by heart. I will ask you one question from each tale, and you must answer each correctly, or you cannot be the windbringer.
So we head out to learn more stories. That wasn't as long of a story as the story of the sea. So, arrogance, bad. Vanity, bad. Bad things. So he couldn't... Well, on the other hand, I guess he at least was able to die happy, which is something, I guess. Let's go meet with Nima. Hello.
Hi, Nima. Hi, April.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of Wind, Star, Sea, and Homecoming?
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming? I had to learn the tale of homecoming. It took a long time, but I think I got it now. I'm better with pottery than I am with the tales, unfortunately. Do you want to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Please. Very well. This is the tale of homecoming, my tale, and I shall tell it in my own words as told to me by my teacher, in her words, and by her teacher in turn. Moran was a handsome young Elation man with strong wings and a hardy beak. He lived below the white cliffs, where the water was salty and the fish plentiful. Moran was betrothed to Inara, the loveliest girl there ever was. She was fair and slender and tall, and her eyes were the clearest shade of blue. But Moran was hesitant to enter into union with Inara, to become her husband and to give her children. He would always come up with a new excuse for why they had to wait a little while longer. Now, Inara was skilled at pottery, but even more so with stories, and the teller of the village had many times asked Inara to be her apprentice, to learn all the tales, so that someday she could take over as the teller. But Inara refused, knowing that if she did accept the teller's offer, she would never be able to marry Moran, because a teller cannot have a husband nor children of her own. Her refusal to become the teller's apprentice was unheard of, because who could refuse such an honor? But to Inara, love was more important. Her love for Moran was beyond honor, beyond reason. But despite Inara's love, Moran was still hesitant. And then one day he told Inara, "I am traveling on a pilgrimage to the far shores. I will be gone for some time, and while I am traveling, and in accordance with our traditions, I will be freed from our betrothal. Not until I come back will the bond between us be renewed." It was not unusual for a young Elation man at that time to go on a pilgrimage, and the bond between the betrothed would often be cut while he was away, to be formed again upon his return. But Inara was heartbroken, because she had thought that Moran would soon want to marry her. When Moran saw her tears, he said to her, "Do not weep. When I come back, I promise I will marry you. Just wait for me, and stay with your pots, to make the time pass quickly." And then Moran left on his pilgrimage to the far shores. Many years went by, and Moran had exciting adventures on the far shores. But by and by, he began to long for home, and for Inara, and now he had finally realized that he loved her, and that he wanted to marry her. But when he returned, he could not find Inara amongst the potmakers. He went to visit her family, and they told him that, after waiting for many years, Inara accepted the teller's offer of apprenticeship. And that when the teller left on the last wind during the previous winter, Inara herself became the new teller. Angry, Moran made his way to the teller's nest, and when he saw Inara, he said to her, "You promised me you would wait." But Inara did not say a single word in answer. She just turned around and lifted something wrapped in leaves from the cot behind her and gave it to Moran. Moran unwrapped the package, and inside he found an old pot, cracked and broken in two. "What is this pot?" he asked. "And why did you not wait for me like I asked you to?" And finally Inara spoke, and she said to Moran, "I made this pot for you, my dear Moran, when you left, because I wanted it to be my marriage gift to you. But when many, many years passed, I finally realized that you did not love me the way I loved you, and to live hoping otherwise would be death." "But I want to marry you," cried Moran. "I came back." But Inara just nodded at the broken pot in Moran's hands and said, "Like an old pot that is left without care, a heart may break in two, and a broken heart can never be mended." And so Inara turned away, never to speak with Moran again, and Moran's heart like the pot that was left untended, broke in two, because absence makes a heart brittle. This was the tale of homecoming, my tale, and I told it in my own words as told to me by my teacher, and as I will tell it to my student when the time comes.
Bye, Nima.
Goodbye, April.
Thank you, Nima. So, homecoming, a sad story. Well, it's understandable to want to travel, but a little bit too long without caring. And there's no really other kind of conduct than just to return back home. Hello, little one.
Hi, Saina.
Do you know the story of the stars? Do you know one of the four tales of wind, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Do you know one of the four tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Yes, my mommy taught me the tale of the stars. It's a really pretty story. Do you want me to tell it?
Mm-hmm.
Please, Saina, I would like that very much.
Okay. This is my tale, the tale of stars, and I tell it to you in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher, in her words. In the small village of Jinjay near the rumbling hills of Onion, there lived a girl called Mona. She was a curious girl, and she would always get in the way of grown elation. Go play somewhere else, they would say to Mona, but she didn't want to play with the other children. She wanted to be where the grown-ups were, to see what they were doing, and learn from them. But one day, after getting many complaints from the pottery makers and guardsmen and traders and soldiers in the village, Mona's mother told her that she wasn't to interfere with the grown-ups anymore, and that instead she could go play with the other children, or sit still and draw or work with clay. But Mona was always curious, and now, since she wasn't to be among the grown elation anymore, she decided to go exploring the forest that lay just outside of the village of Jinjay. She had many times been forbidden to enter the forest because it could be a dangerous place, but Mona was very curious. Of course she wasn't planning on going far into the forest, but then her eye caught sight of a white flufftail hopping through the tall grass, and Mona, curious as ever, gave chase. The flufftail ran away into the forest, and Mona followed, blind to where she was going, and interested only in catching the white flufftail so that she could keep it as a pet. But then, after a good while, the flufftail disappeared into a hole in the ground, leaving Mona alone in a small clearing, somewhere deep inside the forest. She was exhausted after running after the flufftail for so long, and as she looked around the clearing at the unfamiliar trees and flowers, she realized that she hadn't been paying attention to where she was going. Not for the first time, her curiosity had gotten the better of her, but this time it was serious. Mona was too young to fly, and she had very little sense of direction, and chasing the white flufftail had made her dizzy and tired. It was getting darker, and Mona was all alone in the deep, dangerous forest, too sleepy and too scared to be able to go anywhere. Mona curled up with her wings wrapped around her under the leaves of a tree and began crying. Soon it got really dark, and somewhere, not far away, wolves started howling at the moon. Mona was so scared she was petrified, but after a while her exhaustion got the better of her, and she fell asleep. She woke up when she heard a voice calling her from somewhere far above. Looking up at the starry sky, Mona saw a vision of the spirits of 5 tellers gazing down at her. "You have let your curiosity lead you astray," said one. "You are lost, and you deserve to be lost," said another. "Poor little girl," said a third. "We will help you home," said a fourth. "But remember this," said the 5th spirit. "We will lead you back to your village and to your mother only if you promise us one thing." "I promise," said Mona. "Whatever it is, I promise I will do it." "Very well," said the 1st spirit. "You will make the story of this night into your own tale, and you will call it the Tale of Stars." "It will be a tale to warn the curious to be careful," continued the 3rd spirit, "and to not let their curiosity get the better of them. And," said the 2nd spirit, "to remind the elation that the spirits of their tellers watch out for them when they most need it." And so the spirits of the 5 tellers guided Mona through the forest, and by dawn she was home. And Mona did tell her tale, the tale of stars, to everyone in the village, so that everyone would remember that the curious must be cautious, and that the spirits of the tellers are always watching. This was my tale, the tale of stars, and I told it in my own words as my teacher did to me.
That was a beautiful tale, Saina.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Saina.
You're leaving again? I
Aw,
wish you could stay.
Me too, Saina, believe me.
thank you, Saina. Or approximately that way. I always feel like I'm saying their name wrong. Saina. Approximately
Halt.
like that.
Who would visit the teller?
Me.
Are you ready for the questions now?
Yes. Ask me the questions. I hope I'm prepared to answer them properly.
Yes, ask me the questions.
In the Tale of Winds, which mountain did Iwana fall from in her vain attempt to fly higher and further than anyone else?
Okay, well, there's not really a lot of choices. These aren't kind of here. I could say them if I didn't know the story, but I know the story. So Mount Baktana, the Tower of Light.
Mount Bakta'ana, the Tower of Light.
That is correct. In the Tale of Stars, what did Mona see in the sky that helped her find her way home?
5 tellers. The spirits of 5 tellers.
The spirits of 5 tellers.
That is correct. In the Tale of Sea, what creature did the Lost One battle in his quest to recover the sacred jewel?
It was the whatever Octavo. Yes. The Octavo.
The Octavo?
That is
Wow.
correct. My final question to you is this. In the Tale of Homecoming, what was given to Moran by his teller when he returned from his pilgrimage?
Pottery. Or the broken pot, yes. To teach him that the absence may break a heart into.
A broken pot, to teach him that absence may break a heart in two.
You have correctly answered all my questions, and so have proven your knowledge of the 4 tales. You are the Windbringer. The teller would see you presently.
Thank you. Let's go meet with the teller. Yay. Alright. Here we are. Is there anything else to look at other than the teller? I guess not.
She's the teller. She must be over 100 years old.
Pretty old already. Hello.
Come closer, human. Closer. I cannot see your face.
Okay.
Closer still. Come sit here by me.
Okay.
There you are. You see, my eyes are not what they used to be. Ages ago, I could spot a ladybug crawling up a straw of grass from 15 tree lengths up. Now, I have a hard time seeing my supper. But my ears, balance be praised, my ears, they are as good as ever. I could hear you outside, learning the tales my children tell. You are a good listener and a fast learner.
They were interesting stories and your people told them well.
That is what we do. The elation are the keepers of the tales, and I am their teller, the one who must know all the tales told since the day we came to this world.
How can you do that? How can you remember every story ever told?
The secret is to tell them often and to tell them in your own words, not the words of your ancestors.
Doesn't that mean that the stories change with every generation?
Yes, as all tales must. Change is important. Otherwise the tales will have no meaning to us. They will just be words, and we do not care about the words. We care about what the words tell us.
Okay, so the basic essence of the stories is the same, possibly all the names, but everyone tells the stories in their own way, in their own words, not just all the time saying with the same exact same words like everyone or previous generations. Kind of interesting. How long have your people been telling stories?
How long have your people been telling stories?
Since the beginning, human. since we came to this world a long, long time ago.
You're not from Earth? From Arcadia?
Not according to our tales. We came on a great wind before the divide, when the earth was one and humans had yet to learn of magic and science. But we were a different people then, and the tales we tell from that time are vague and incomplete. Like myths and legends, the younger elation pay little attention to these tales. Sometimes I worry they will be lost with me, these tales, and I am getting old, very old.
They are the story before your people got divided. I am the Windbringer.
I'm the Windbringer.
I know you are. It's strange to me to hear those words spoken. I did not think they would be in my lifetime. But here you are, standing in front of me as real as the sky is blue.
I'm sorry I have to ask, but what is it that the Windbringer is supposed to do for you?
I did not expect you to walk in here and have all the answers, child. The balance has both blessed you and cursed you, and it has sent you here to do what it wills. The Windbringer is said to be the first sign of the great wind that will take us away from here. For a long time, the elation have lost the strength they used to have. Our bones have become weak, and our wings fragile. Where we used to be able to soar for days on strong winds, we are now using our legs to walk rather than fly. Why this is, we do not know.
Tan Yen.
You know of the reason for this?
I'm just guessing, but it makes sense. Go on.
The tales also say that the Windbringer will unite us with our past and end the age-old strife.
Yes.
I know. You must make peace and be reunited with the Merim. You share a common ancestry.
I have always thought we did. The tales were too similar, the signs clear. But my people, they will have a difficult time understanding why and how this can be.
If you don't, both the Elation and the Merim will die out. When war broke out between your people and you were forced to move up into the mountains, it compromised a precarious symbiosis. A substance called Tan Yen was abundant where the Merim and the Elation lived in close proximity. It brought fish and heat and light to both your people. But now, living up in the mountains, your way of life, your diet, your customs and habits, they've all changed. And that's probably the cause of your brittle bones and fragile wings.
Then we must make peace with the Merim and restore the balance between us, so as to strengthen us both and prepare us for the journey that will surely come soon. When our sitting is over, I will speak to my people, and I will elect one representative from the Elation to meet with the Merim in the place of your choosing to open a dialogue.
I came to you to find answers to some important questions.
As well, yes.
Ask, and I will try my best to answer.
Thank you. So, do you know anything about the Guardian's realm? I think I should ask that the last. What do you know about the Trikin?
What do you know about the Dryad Kin?
The kin are numbered 4, or so our tales tell. 2 in this world, 2 in the other. The mirror world. The white and the blue, the red and the green.
Do you know where they are?
No, the tales never say. The kin are elusive. They keep to themselves. I have never seen one myself, and I doubt any of my kind has. The tales do say that our past and our future are tied to the fate of the kin, but how I would not pretend to know. This is one tale that is yet to be told.
Well, I can answer that you came within the dragon's mouth in the here, so it's kind of logical that at least your past is connected. Have you heard of an ancient god or dragon that lives beneath the sea?
Have you heard of an ancient god or dragon that lives beneath the sea?
Once, long ago, when my people lived in harmony with the Merim, there were stories of an old god worshipped by the Merim who resided deep in the darkest depths of the ocean. According to legend, the old god had once brought the Merim into their realm, into the ocean, and he was now sleeping, resting before the journey back.
Back where?
To a great ocean amongst the stars. When the time came, he would gather the Merum and bring them home with him, back to their world, to their ocean. Strangely enough, we have a similar tale. It is said that the great wind that brought us here will someday return to bring us back to a place where we can soar forever on warm winds.
Like heaven.
In a way, perhaps, but without the need for any of us to die. The great wind will just sweep us up and carry us away. Every evening before I go to sleep, I recite this tale to myself. It is a comforting one.
Do
I'm
you know
sure.
anything about the Guardian's realm?
Yes.
This is human business. Would you not know more than I?
Your people are the keepers of the tales. You remember more than humankind has forgotten. Please, I need to hear what you know.
That is very little. The Guardian's realm is home to the Guardian in his tower. No one is permitted within except the Guardian who was, the Guardian who is, and the Guardian who will be. And of course the Dryak kin, who were instrumental in its making.
Have you ever heard of the existence of a hidden entrance to his realm?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have heard tell of such a thing, though I would not know where it is. I gather that one of the kin may be able to tell you.
I hope
Thank
so.
you. I don't have any more questions.
I am glad I could help you with some answers.
Yes, thank you.
I guess it's time for you to talk to your people and for me to make arrangements with the Merum.
Where do you wish for our meeting to take place, Windbringer?
You want me to decide? Well,
Yes.
I know. Send your ambassador down to the ancient caves by the beach.
That is a
Inside,
perfect place.
there are remnants of an old Elation settlement and a Merum city. It's a good place for your two people to meet, don't you think?
Yes. And could you ask if they would bring their half of the stone?
The stone? You have the other half?
We have held on to it for centuries, knowing that someday it would be of use to the Windbringer.
It will, trust me.
Yay.
And we must make haste and arrangements. It is an important day, so let us not waste light. Go and wait for my ambassador in the caves.
Okay, thank you. Oh, however, I'm going to get back down there, I don't know, but somehow I'm sure, I hope. To be continued with Gita Rusha in the longest journey.